Hey, no fly intros, none of those fly intros, uh, none of this other stuff that people waste time on. It's 2026. They ain't feeling that no more. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. Man, I felt like streaming today. Here it is. And I got a few things to talk about. It's not really a specific topic. I did a video earlier. I want to talk about that. Talk about some maybe talk about some people. I'm getting caught up on what's been going on in certain spaces on YouTube, which is always an adventure. Always an adventure. But other than that, it's Black Moses News. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. Yeah. Hold on, let me do some stuff here. I'm live. Man, I usually have two screens. And that's because I be wanting to show video, but I don't live stream much, so it really don't matter. So it's just me talking shit today. And anybody that comes in here and gets to talking out of pocket, you gonna get it, man. You gonna get it. Because most of y'all that I come across is very contradictory to yourself. I don't know why that is. Maybe mental illness is on the rise. It especially is with some of you people I see. I don't know why the incessant or heated validation seeking, acceptance. I don't know what that's about. I know I exist in what I would call, man, what is that called on because I watch a lot of the Marvel universe, the astral plane. The astral plane. A lot of times when there is a person, a being, an entity that is just doing too much, causing too much trouble within the immediate reality, a group of, if you want to call them heroes or mutants or super psionics or those psychic mutants, they'll send that particular being to the astral plane because like we just can't deal with him. We got to get him up out of here. We got to get him up out of here. So they send him to the astral plane. They've done it with Apocalypse. And I know in the DC universe, they'll send them to what's called the Phantom Zone when they're just causing too much trouble. But to me, they're not really causing trouble. They're just seeing a super logic and they're implementing that super logic to where everybody else wants things to just be status quo. But we're entering times where things just can't be status quo anymore. We're getting closer and closer to those times. And I'm not going to say, oh, it's the end of the world, like a lot of goofs and doofs say, oh, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the world without doing your homework. But we are entering a time that is going to require an extreme outcome. That's where we are. And a lot of it is reflecting on YouTube in these YouTube spaces because, yes, it's the internet. Yes, it's these different platforms. It's digitized, but it's pretty much a magnetized version. Am I using that word right? Or an expanded version of how people are thinking, generally. And a lot of people are just out of it, man. I don't know if they've been taken mentally beyond their limits. And a lot of y'all have very short limits. A lot of y'all was already kind of out of there in the first place. So honestly, so really, you going on YouTube and all these other platforms, and especially these live streams, and you already had a mind that was troubled, you've pretty much just evaporated any functional mental capacity that you had. Because I'm seeing some weirdos and weird ass shit going on YouTube in these spaces, especially these live stream spaces. People that can just express themselves in a short video, you're fine. You're fine. You can still express yourself in a video. You don't need a whole day just to express yourself or to try to show that you're smarter than everybody else. That is a mental fail within itself. Within itself. Because a lot of you people were trash in school. You were trash. You were trash in school. Some of y'all probably tried to go to college. You was trash there. But for some reason, here's these opportunities that's been on social media and these platforms for a few decades now. And you want to get on here and show you're smarter than everybody else when you can even do your damn homework when you were in grade school. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, really. Really. Now, I do live by the code of learn every day. And one thing about me is I love to work. I love to work. And I love to learn. Those things go hand in hand because as you work in different spaces, within different opportunities, you learn more. Not to mention that I got to read something every day, even if it's just for a while. I got to read something every day because you have to learn every day. Somebody said, and I said it myself, and I didn't know that it was a consensus among other people that once you start learning, or maybe people heard me say it and just used it because I didn't hear anybody else say this before I did. Once you start learning, once you stop learning, you start dying. Once you close your brain off to learning, actually getting information. I'm not talking about just getting on YouTube and hearing all kinds of weird shit and taking it as gospel. Really, I'm taking it as you're actually putting in the effort to go and read, get the information, and make your own assessment and make your own wise decision or your own learned decision. A lot of y'all ain't making learned decision because y'all are just hearing some other goofy say something on YouTube and y'all are just taking it as, oh, it must be right for some reason. That lets me know you're already mentally out of there. For real. For real, for reals, for reals. and one thing I hate, and like I said, I'm just on here pumping today. I'm pushing that P. But one thing I hate that I see across these platforms, no, not these platforms. And I did a video about Rumble, which is a complete, and I love it. And I love Rumble. And I've heard people on YouTube say that Rumble is trash. No, it's not Rumble. It's not Rumble. Rumble is a platform of complete independent thinking. Every channel, except for a few who've migrated from YouTube, every main channel, top level channel that I watch on Rumble, it's all independent but informed thinking. It is. And then I'll come back to YouTube for the trash. Because you motherfuckers be trash for real. I'm serious. And this is not an advertisement like on the video. This is not me pumping Rumble, which I will do. I will pump Rumble. I love it. For some reason, I love it. It reminds me of when I used to be in the house on Saturdays and watching these different shows that used to come on like early to late evening shows. Shows like Hee Haw, the Carol Burnett Show, The Laugh-In. It used to be this video show, Lawrence Welk, just different, like just homebody type shows that you just said. And I enjoyed these shows as a kid. And for some reason, they were so pleasant and you actually learn things by listening to these people, even though they were entertaining, being funny or whatnot. But nowadays, since everybody is migrating to these platforms, a lot of you, I'm going to say this, and yeah, I'm sounding sarcastic. My Black Moses News is about ultimate sarcasm because you motherfuckers got to get out there and actually learn, actually consume proper information, not listen to a bunch of dropouts and last place finishers on YouTube. And I'm not kicking YouTube. I'm kicking y'all. I'm kicking y'all that don't do your homework and just come on here and say stuff. It is these are weird times. And like, let me repeat myself. I'm not going to sit up and say, oh man, these are the end of days. These are the end of days. This may be reminiscent of maybe Sodom and Gomorrah, how motherfuckers just, no matter what, they were just feeding to their carnal needs and just saying shit. Oh, I got somebody here. What's up, Lawrence? That's my guy, Lawrence, right there. That's my guy, man. He got the great battle toad king. I'm gonna have to use that, aka Black Moses, aka Black Measy, aka the great battle toad king, aka your grandmama's best kept secret. That's all I got right now. That's all I got right now, Lawrence. But appreciate you coming in here. And Lawrence, you are a frequent supporter, if I can use that word. You are a frequent supporter of channels such as Speak Radio. I was trying to think of that movie the other day when I was talking to somebody who just didn't make sense. It wasn't on YouTube or nowhere. This was like business wise. And I'm like, why do these people do this? It reminds me of that movie who was the guy that starred in that movie? I couldn't think of his name, but that was the movie. I was thinking about the movie Office Space because I think the same guy was in Office Space. But the movie I was thinking about is Idiocracy. That's the movie. Thank you, Speak Radio. I appreciate that. Hail to the Platinum King, Speak Radio. Okay, yeah, definitely. Hail to the Platinum King, Speak Radio. I will agree with that 100%. Thank you for that. Man, I was dealing with some idiots the other day. Wait, hold on. Let me skip. I'm gonna get in with the comments with y'all. Not worried about what I'm saying. Let me see. Moses, do you think the president of Idiocracy is Jay Prince? He would be the black version. Like you have the Idiocracy, which would be the main society, and then you have the separate black society that's even 10x on Idiocracy, and he would be the president because you know, it's not amazing to hear the stuff he says. You know, it's not amazing. I've heard people say that, but what amazes me is that this guy's like a middle school dropout. He is. I think he's self-confessed he's a middle school dropout, but yet people really think what he says is like they can equate it to a genius. Oh, JP, right. JP, right. No, he's wrong every time. He's wrong every time. Mike Judge, that's my guy. Yeah, Mike Judge from what's that cartoon? King of the Hill. One of my favorite cartoons. King of the Hill, man. One of my favorite cartoons, Mike Judge. Yeah, I'm not amazed with JP. You know, I bum on him all the time. It's getting to the point to where the last couple of times I've been on Chaotic Truth show with him and just bummed on it, just said a couple of things, he just jumped off because he knows. See, I'm learned. I'm still learning. I consume knowledge every day outside of the internet. I'm an avid reader. I am. I'm an avid reader, not just black books like, you know, some people. You would think JP read only black books, but he doesn't read, period. He's just hearing what he said on old Hotep channels. Some of it, maybe 5% of it. And because I've heard some of that Hotep language, because I used to watch channels like Sinetta TV and House of Consciousness and some of the other ones like Captain Tazariak. I used to really listen to them, and I was really supporting them not because they was really just saying some profound shit. It's just because they were starting their own independent movements and trying to create their own economics within those movements. They really weren't saying nothing profound. And that's the reason I respect those movements like ISUPK, which Captain Tazariak is a part of, because they create their own economics. They actually create what Elijah Muhammad said, nation within nations. And you got to respect that. You got to. When you can create your own infrastructure and use your own belief system within it, I salute you on that. But if you're just on here talking shit on YouTube like JP, you're really not a factor. You're not a factor at all. Ryan Bardwell, who supports CT and many other people, sounds as like Hank Hill. Ain't right. Bobby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody else I like to bum on that Righteous Muffin is a doof. I don't Black Moses News. I bum on those losers, those doofs that all collectively end up festering over their Chaotic Truth Live. It's just a whole pus bubble of festering losers over their Chaotic Truth Live. But I love it though. That's the entertainment of it. But as far as Chaotic himself, I think he should really expand and spread his wings. Sometimes I see Chaotic and I'm like, man, you have the opportunity to be a young Larry Elder, the male equivalent to Candace Owens. You have that opportunity, and you're right there in Cleveland, one of the worst S-holes of a city, if there is one, to really get in there and make change. To really stand on us, get on a local soapbox, run for office, because as a young black, he's 40, but he prime age to start trying to run for office and make changes in the infested pus bubble that's Cleveland. And I'm like, man, why won't this guy do it? All he does is come on YouTube and just entertain these yokels, you know. Muffin is depressive and he's very evident. He's a loser in his own society. See, I don't deny that America, the Republic, the United States, the Republic, is first and foremost for the benefit of white people. And that's kind of fading. And I think because it's fading, Righteous Muffin is reacting to the fading of it because he was losing in the first place. He never took advantage of him being just a straight-laced white guy. Even though I told him, I said, man, you look kind of mixed. You don't look like a pure white guy. You kind of look like you're mixed with Asian. And he got mad about that. But the guy does. I've seen him, you know. When I think of white people that really benefit from America, usually they're what they've been in line with. You know, the white hair, blonde hair, blue eye, tall, you know, like look at the president, look at Trump. Tall, he wasn't all blondish, but tall. Man, that's who really benefits. You can't hide as a white person, you can't hide behind other successful white men and just, yeah, well, I'm white too. But you're losing. You're losing. You're not taking the benefits of your own constitution. You're losing. So why should we respect you? Especially since you've deduced yourself, and he has, especially since you have deduced yourself to going on a black man's YouTube show to talk about the minorities that you're mad at, and you think minorities shouldn't be here because you're losing. So how you're feeling like there's so many minorities here that I'm being squeezed out. But you shouldn't be feeling that way because you're white. You still should be benefiting. But you're not. You're a loser. He got mad when I said he only gets the bottom of the white women. You know, you have the top of upper echelon of beautiful white women, and then you have the bottom, you know, what I call them the Omega moves. Remember that? Lambda, and Omega move. Oh, that set him off. He got off the stream, and then Chaotic had to give him his own space. He had to pay for his own space just to do a rant against me. When he couldn't do it, when he yeah. Most of these white people that have so much to say about blacks will get spit on by the whites with real power. Exactly. You know, as far as black people and other minorities, we could be invisible. And that's the thing. We shouldn't be trying to live up to the acceptance of white people. I see, I love watching other minorities just do their own thing, specifically Hispanics. Man, because I'm in Texas, in the Metroplex, I see a lot of mainly Hispanic areas, and they're beautiful. The taquerias with the lit up signs with the red, green, and white. Um, People just milling about. You can hear the Tejano music coming out of some of the places, and it's just a beautiful communal society that just gives you a good feeling if you're Hispanic. I'm black or perceived as black, you know. I get a good feeling when I go into these mainly Hispanic sections of town. I get a good feeling. It's like festive. They know that, yeah, we're here in America, but we do our own thing. We come together, we pool our resources, and we enjoy life. Man, I'm going around like I was in my old area because I had some services to attend, sad to say, but I was in my old area, and there are spots in the area in which I grew up on that was mainly black, where you see Hispanics are just building houses. They're getting little plots of land and they're building these beautiful modern homes. They look like these homes we call moderns. They look futuristic. And when I said, yeah, those are some Hispanics or some Mexicans building. No, they'll take just a little small part of land and build like 2 or 3 houses right on that part of land. And a lot of that land is in the neighborhood where there was mainly blacks. So it's already zoned for residential living. So all they do is get the land and put these brand new homes that will be almost, at least, I would say these homes that I'm seeing would range from between $500,000 to upwards to $750,000. Almost. I'm talking about the style of home. These are some moderns, not like the regular modern cookie cutter homes. These are the homes that they call mods, that look like where rich guys be living just off to themselves. Like that house that's on. Have you ever seen this movie called Deus Machina? I think it's Deus Machina. And this guy lived off to himself in this modern home. This is what those houses look like. And I'm like, man, they're in the hood. They're building these houses in the hood. Now, they're not as big as far as size and extravagance, but the look is the same. And it's remarkable. It's incredible. It's amazing. What the? No, just it's crazy to see these type of houses just popping up in what's still considered the hood. But that goes to show you independent minds of a community that's moving forward, not looking back and complaining about why these situations exist. You can blame something in the past, or you can move forward and find out how you can make your immediate situation better. And that's the problem. They won't. You're talking about, what's up, Craig Lucas? You're talking about a community. Let me tell you something. Where I grew up, man. Because when my parents, when we moved into the neighborhood that I grew up in, the home was new. This was a new subdivision, right? It was a new where our family moved to. It was a new subdivision. It was a new community. Part of that community had just experienced what was called white flight. A lot of the black people were moving into those homes, and a lot of white people who lived in those homes were moving out. They were moving out. This was because I was born in the late 60s, and my childhood was mainly the 70s and 80s. So when I was a child, I didn't see it, but it happened. White flight. Some people that were already there saw the white people move out. White flight. That's what they call it, right? So over the years, the neighborhood or the area became mostly black. There was another neighborhood that was old. It was an older neighborhood across the other side of a street that divides the area. Our area was a newer area. That area was an old. It's like what we call the Glendale Park area. So going over there now, going over to that area now, and even where I live, you see where a lot of the children or the that are grown up, they allowed those houses to deteriorate. Holes in the roof, rotted wood, but yet people were still walking in those houses. People were still living in those houses. Then a lot of the people over there, the crack era just, I would say the crack era mixed with the gangster hip hop era was one of the most destructive, I'll just say the 90s was one of the most destructive forces that rolled through the black community or black communities. It didn't destroy other communities like it did the black community, because our communities and the Hispanic community that existed, they ran parallel. But for some reason, they had enough resources and enough wherewithal to not let it destroy them. On the other hand, man, decimated. So what's going on now is you have a lot of, and this is not being in the negative, you have a lot of Hispanic realtors or Hispanic people that are investing in real estate in those distressed areas, in those very highly distressed black areas. They're buying the property either through tax sales, with the help of those Hispanic realtors. Because if a black family loses a home and you have mostly Hispanic investors and Hispanic realtors, they're not trying to push another black family into that house. They're trying to clear as many black people out of that area and move Hispanics in. And I'm not saying that in the negative. I'm saying that it's forward moving progression. Now, as black people, why wasn't you trying to take out grants and loans to redo the house? And if you wanted to sell it, sell it. That would be a voluntary moving yourself out, because you're moving to what you feel is something better. But no, you're actually losing those houses. Either the city was shutting those, dude, you had like 2 or 3 brothers and sisters in one house and they were all addicted to crack. And they were just letting the house go, letting the little drug dealers coming in, turn their house into a trap house. Policeman or the city policeman comes, raid the house. Then the city has to designate it as, what is it called? Substandard. Is some title that the city or the county puts on the home to where it's what they consider it non-livable. And if the person that owns that home or that property doesn't do anything to improve it or to restore it, sustain it, then they just take it from them through sale and sell it to, I'm seeing these houses be torn down and these new, beautiful, modern looking homes going up, being erected, if that's the word, pause, being brought up, elevated. I'm going to say elevated in the hood. And I don't know why I just went down that road, but hey, it's just Black Moses News, and I'm just saying what's on my mind. But let me go back. And if you want to continue talking about this, we can. Anybody want to come up and just, you ain't got a cam up here. I'm not like that. You know, I need to start streaming more, but I barely ever stream. So I ain't putting all these restrictions. Oh, you got a cam up. But I do want to know that it's somebody substantial, not somebody trying to come in here and do some dumb shit, you know. But if you want to speak more on this topic, we can, but I wanted to move on as to something I really wanted to talk about, because I did a video earlier talking about I call it the Coward's Complete Guide to YouTube. And I started this stream because I wanted to go more in depth on that. Because I don't scratch my head on it as much when I see it. I used to back years ago when I would see this kind of behavior, but I don't anymore. And if you're in here, let me know if you're hearing me well through my mic, if my audio is clean. My video might be spotty. I don't know if my connection is in and out or whatever, but my video might be spotty. But as long as you can hear me talking, that's the force. That's the force. But let me know if the audio is still clean. So, and like I said, I'll revisit that topic, even though, man, and I want to talk, I'm going to say one more thing in regards to that, and then I'm going to move on. I was talking to, it's all good on my end. Okay, thank you, Speak Radio. Appreciate that. And let me just keep you up here. Keep your remark up here. I was talking to a young lady not a young lady, you know, we're middle-aged or getting older. We're in the third quarter of our lives. And she was telling me about her brothers aren't helping her with the parents' home. And she was getting notices of taxes, and the letters was asking her for a response because they were talking about, hey, we're going to get ready to foreclose on your home if you don't catch up on these taxes. And, you know, the parents have passed away. And she just didn't know what to do. You know, I could tell she's frustrated, and she didn't know what to do. But me having a background in mortgages, working for mortgage houses and mortgage companies, and specifically I worked in foreclosure. So I had good knowledge of it. So I told her, I said, hey, and then when she told me the amount, I said, okay, do this. I just told her to take out a home equity loan. I said, take out a home equity loan, pay the taxes, and just have a little money left over stored for, you know, little basic needs, or just towards the next taxes, to help towards the next taxes, and just start monitoring the situation. Because what happens is, in these communities, we're just living in these houses and not monitoring the situation. Let me tell you something, especially not just Black folks, but minorities, period. There are entities that go by the guise of corporations, and they're looking to take from you as much as possible to just bulldoze you on out the way and rebuild that to something that what they feel will be more capital gaining. And they do that, and I'm going to tell you, they do that by every day having someone in those local hearings, those local city council hearings, those local county board hearings. They have somebody every day with a notebook and a recorder, just getting updates to see what they can do to obtain that property. You know who's not there? And maybe because you're busy working, or maybe because you're busy dealing with family issues, for whatever reason, but y'all ain't there. Just a regular, ordinary, everyday Negro in the hood ain't there. You just going to that living, it's all good, getting full every day, hanging out in front of your garage, drinking and bullshitting, and you're not paying attention. My mother told me a long time ago, and she told me that my grandfather told her this: while we're sleeping and hanging out they're consistently plotting, planning, and having meetings to pass new rules and pass new laws. They're up all night. Why? And she specifically said she was told while we're sleeping, they're up making plans. They're up making new laws, making new rules. And we wake up and we don't know what happened. And that's the problem. See, people think, and I've learned this from my years of life. People think you just work to the weekend, and then when the weekend comes, you party, you vacation, you have a good time until you go back to work, and then you're miserable again for some reason. And I'm going to get into that miserable at work on another live stream because I can do that one all goddamn day. But we're programmed. We're programmed like that. We think we get a job, go to work, get our paycheck, go spend our paycheck and party, have a good time, and then do it all over again. But in between that time, we're not paying attention to the updates from the local and county courthouses that pass new rules. We're not looking to see what new civic restrictions or civic advances are going on, or things that we could take advantage of within our own locales. And then when it happens and it affects us in the negative, we will, oh, y'all ain't being fair. Y'all just doing that to us because we's black. No, it's because you are consistently uninformed by your own cause, by your own devices. You're consistently uninformed. And when I say uninformed, I'm not saying woke. No, I'm not using that like, oh, woke. I don't like that. But you are consistently uninformed. Yes, one thing to be educated, school educated, book educated. Yeah. But then there's the things that go on between the lines. There's the live city council meetings. There's the live county board meetings that go on every day. And then if you see a news report and you see a black person that's actually involved in that city council meeting or that county meeting, and they're screaming at the board, you be like, why are they doing all that? It's because they understand what's going on and they're addressing it. And they're making the people that are trying to negatively affect them, they're putting them on notice that, hey, I know what you're doing and I'm going to let it be known. Now, here's the thing about that. When they do that, when they let it be known and they go around the community passing out flyers or saying, hey, this is what they're trying to do, y'all need to know so we can act on this. Not necessarily picketing and all that stuff, but just after informing people, they get ignored. They get ignored. And that's what's fucked up about these communities, because a lot of times they cause their own problem by not being involved and being heavily uninformed. If you can agree or disagree, let me know. Let me know. I can get up here and talk this shit all day. I see it. I've watched it. I've learned it. I've lived it. Yeah. I've seen a lot of my partners let mama and daddy's house just go. Nice houses. Just let them go. Because it was mama and daddy's house. Not knowing that when mama and daddy pass on and you take it over, you can rebuild it and do what you want to. You can take some money out of it with a home equity loan, add some additions to it, put you a pool in the back. You can clean it up every day, clean out the garage. But they feel, oh man, I grew up there with mom and dad. I ain't trying to do that. I'm trying to do something new, man. I'm trying to buy my own house. No, not at all. You can create your own new house right there where your mother and father planted the seed. It grows, man. Do you agree or disagree? Do you agree or disagree? Whoever's in here, let me know. I be talking that real shit. I'm not getting on other channel like other channels and talking, oh man, the whites and the blacks, the liberals and the conservatives and all this other stuff that you ain't got nothing to do with, stuff that, thank you Lawrence, you agree, stuff that you ain't got nothing to do with. A lot of you guys, like, you go over there to Chaotic Truth, that's my guy, and y'all get to talking these politics that have nothing to do with you. Why? Because you're not a politician, you're not running for office, you don't care. You just want to get on there and show that you're smarter than everybody else. And you're dumb because you probably was a freaking special student. So now you want to get on there and talk racial ideology and all this other stuff that has nothing to do with your immediate existence. It starts with your immediate existence. How do I make myself better? And how do I make the community around me, or the environment? I'm not going to say community. A lot of y'all don't even have freaking communities. Communities have been decimated by better thinking people. Your communities have been decimated. There are people that exist every day is to create opportunity. To create. This is not negative. Every day they're trying to figure out where the opportunity is and what they need to do to create that opportunity. And if your dumbass is in the way, then you just get rolled over. But you want to turn it into some big global conspiracy. Man, they doing this because of the what's that dude name? Just the goofy, just see something, and he gets on and he talk these global conspiracies and stuff, but yet he's a hobgoblin. Why are you talking about all these perceived secret groups and big political offices? Well, see him, that's his name. See him. I came across his channel. It's probably because I was going to look at some repost of Chaotic. So when you're in this circle, YouTube will suggest this, and he was live. And I'm gonna speak on that because there's somebody that co-hosts with him, and I'm like, why is she consistently co-hosting with this dude? It's like the common sense is missing. Why is she co-hosting with this dude? This is a weird dynamic. It's a weird dynamic, and I'm going to address it either on Chaotic Show or just over here when I get this one growing. But it is a weird dynamic to watch some of the people that's over there on CM's channel. And maybe they're over there just for shits and giggles. Right now, CM, Mooncakes, Ponder, and Tina are fighting with Stanley, Imperious, Moxie, and Mariah. Just a band of idiots, huh? Just a band of idiots. Oh my God. Somebody sent me a picture of Stanley, and I was like, what the fuck? What? He looks like a old auntie that works at the hospital at night and came home and brought candy to everybody. I got some candy though. The big auntie with the mustache and the wild hair. I said, man, that's who? Because at first I thought they was joking and saying that was Ponder, since you never see Ponder. It looked like an old auntie with a mustache. And I'm like, I thought they was joking and saying, guess who this is? You never see them, but they're always talking. And I was like, Ponder was the first. I was like, no, this looks like a guy. But then again, it looks like an older, when black women get older and they're real black, and some of them get the little mustache or whatnot. Yeah, I want to know, what are they fighting about? This is, and Imperious, I hadn't heard Imperious's voice in a while. So they're going back and forth. Mooncakes and Tina. Now, Mooncakes is cool, but Tina's already a loser. She wasted her good looks. She wasted her good looks by having children early in life without a husband. She became a baby mama early because she looks young and she already has 2 kids. So she's already, her value is gone. Now, Mooncakes has still retained her value. No kids, no prior husbands or nothing. Still has her looks. And I think they're both in their maybe mid to late 20s, possibly. But for some reason, Tina failed. And now she's on YouTube just saying sporadic crazy shit. Like, is she drinking while she on her drinking some of that box wine and just, like, what the hell is wrong with her? So you got a war with the, I guess I'll say the CM crew, because Ponder, that's what I was like, why is Ponder consistently on CM's show? What is she getting out of that? Is there some kind of weird sexual dynamic going on there? Because if so, now I'm really starting to wonder what Ponder really looks like. I'm starting to wonder, because if you're having some kind of sexual dynamic, because I was listening one night and it sounded like flirtation going on. And I'm like, if you're actually on here flirting with this guy, then something is going on. This is a weird dynamic. And I have to wonder how you really look in real person. You really have to show and prove now. You just can't get on here. And I said that last time when she got mad at Bob on Chaotic, saying that he was stalking her. I said that was out of character for her, and she has to show and prove now. She really has to show that her looks match the voice. Because if you're on there and you're flirting with CM, that shows desperation. So you being desperate enough to be catering to the whims of CM, I have to know what you look like. Stanley is going to review CM stream. CM is threatening to. So Moxie and Imperius may be doxing? Stanley is going to review CM stream. CM is threatening to strike Stanley, and they think, why would why would you? I'd never really listened to Stanley stream. Now, I did listen to a stream recently, not all of it, just pieces of it, because Tina was showing up over there, and I'm like, damn. Now, I remember Stanley initially from Here for the Tea, him being over there, and I had to bam on him for saying something to me, like, you know, he likes to, I've heard him where he likes to call people idiots and stuff. Man, the dude looks like a big auntie with a mustache, a black ass big auntie with a mustache. You don't need to come for me, dude, because you have some internal issues, and I see them and I've heard them. You have some internal issues. Just listening to you talk lets me know you have internal issues. Moxie doesn't even like Imperius. Oh, this is wild. But I just don't have the time to listen to that bullshit. Just the fact that they're going through that is wild, man. You let me ask y'all don't see the mental setbacks with that? Y'all don't see it? Just the fact that they have to do that on YouTube. What's the guy? Palomino Ricky Z. I remember Palomino Ricky Z got mad at me. I was on that last Chaotic show, and I exposed him because I know Palomino Ricky Z likes to go on John Galt's channel and be a little pom-pom cheerleader for John Galt. But he came when I was doing one of these streams. He came over here and he told me about how John Galt's, because to me, I always thought John Galt has a nerve issue by the way he postures himself and the way he talks and the way he really has to have the weed and the alcohol. So I said, man, this dude has some kind of issue where he needs this stuff, which is a bad example for the subject he talks about. And then Palomino Ricky Z came and told me that Palomino Ricky Z says that John Galt has seizures, but he doesn't have epilepsy. He told me he has seizures because he gets really upset with black people. And I'm thinking that shit makes no sense whatsoever. It doesn't. If you have seizures, you have some form of it. And if you have to consistently drink and intake substances to curb that, because now I know he's doing that to curb it. If you have to take those substances to curb the effects of that condition, dude, you have no reason to be coming on YouTube talking down on anybody. Just your nerve. And I always said, dude, he has some kind of nervous condition. And Palomino Ricky Z confirmed that that's the issue. Thank you, Palomino. And Palomino Ricky Z got mad at me. Palomino Ricky got mad at me because I brought it out. Because I said that he has a nervous issue. Palomino Ricky Z got mad at me because I said that on Chaotic Truth Live. But you told me that, dude. You didn't think that I wasn't going to do that? Hey, there go Imperious right there. Palomino Ricky Z is always on. When I go to the last streams, and I haven't been to a John Galt stream in a while. Matter of fact, I tried to go over there the other night. He didn't have any new streams up the last time, but I know when I went in there, Palomino Ricky Z was in there like really cheerleading John Galt. And John Galt is a freaking, I don't care how much money you claim to have or how much of a businessman you think you are or how smart you are, him being a software engineer, internally, because all of that, being a software engineer, owning property, those are all motor functions when it comes to work. You learn your job and your muscle memory or your motor function, it sustains that. But then there are the other issues that cause even greater issues. Let me see what Imperious is. John is an old drunk. Don't forget weed head. That's why him and Be Brave are so good buddies, because they're both weed heads. John Galt grows his own trash weed. We call it Reggie. John Galt seems to be afraid of Imperious, and he should be. Imperious, number one, Imperious has an intellect. Number two, he laser beams that intellect forcefully on people. He doesn't sit by and just, oh, well, you know, this and this. He sits there and says, you fucking idiot. This is what it is. This is what I'm telling you. And people are scared of that. I'm that way. And people are afraid of that. And they try to distance themselves as much as possible from a person like that. If Imperious had his own channel, believe me, he'd be demonetized and his channel would be struck because of all the people that are afraid of him. Just like they were afraid of people like, who else done got kicked off YouTube? Tommy Sotomayor and other people that got kicked demonetized, like Fresh and Fit. When you talk with intellect and know what you're talking about, and you do it with force, people that don't know what they're talking about, which is mainly most of the people that run in these sectors on YouTube, that threatens them. That makes them feel inferior, which they are anyway. So shit, Imperious, I tell you, keep pumping it. Keep pushing that shit. People don't like direct old school people. Yep, that's true. And that's the failing of John Galt. John Galt is an old, drunk, passive aggressive dude that speaks on people that ain't even listening. All the street people and the drug addicts and the people that rent places from him, those are desperate people that don't have time for YouTube. They're just trying to survive. So he can talk about them without any repercussion because they don't know that he's talking. They're not on YouTube anyway. Even though YouTube is free, they still can afford to watch it. We live in a soft world where people want to hear things that make them happy, not the reality. And that's the sad part. That's very true. Oh, yeah, Tommy isn't allowed back on YouTube. He's on Rumble now. Thank you for telling me that, Lawrence. Thank you. And if you've watched that video I put up maybe 30 minutes ago, it's about an 8-minute video, how contradictory these people are. Rumble, I even heard John Galt, and I hate to keep talking about John Galt, and I've heard some other people say this in these I hate saying sectors, but these environments. They say Rumble is trash. Dude, Rumble ain't trash. Rumble is a platform that gives you the opportunity, First Amendment opportunity, to say what you say and still fully monetize. Fully monetize. But you idiots are still on YouTube complaining about YouTube. YouTube has told you, we're not going to sponsor you if you're saying and doing this stupid shit. We're a business here. We have sponsors and ad revenue and companies that invest in this and invest in ads on our channel, but they don't want to be affiliated with the dumb shit y'all are talking all day on YouTube Live. But yet people complain and say, F YouTube, YouTube demonetized me, the terms of service. What's up? Were you going to get that? Yeah, I'm going a little bit. Once I finish. It's 6:40. Man, okay, I'll do it in a little bit.
Oh, never mind. My work computer is on the wrong time. It's on East Coast time. So it's always free.
Yeah.
A long time ago. You gotta put something in there?
The oven?
Yeah, you turn the oven on.
Turn it off. I didn't know I had the oven on. Turn the oven off. Okay, turn it off. Did you turn it off?
No, I didn't know if you were going to.
Turn it off. Oh, I was gonna put that quesadilla in there. Turn it off. Yeah. Damn, I turned the oven on to warm up some quesadilla and left it on. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let me get back to these comments. Let me get back to talking about Rumble versus YouTube. And I like them both. But if you're a rational thinking person, which a lot of these people aren't, how can you get on YouTube, complain about the terms of service? You got like at least 3 or 4 of the platforms that'll let you come on there and say what you want. Not to mention that you could just start your own website and do your own stuff. But yet you're constantly nesting, and this is what they're doing. They're nesting in fear on YouTube. They're really not business people. They just think YouTube, and then they come on YouTube, ask for cash apps and all this other stuff, and that's easy for them. These are the people I don't respect. If you're going to be a real content creator and make it a business for yourself, then you got to venture out to these other platforms that's going to allow you free speech. I just started a new Black Moses News. Even though I'm streaming here, Black Moses News will be mainly streaming on Rumble because I like to say what the fuck I want to say. I'm not monetized, so I'm cussing. And that's what I love about it. But you got goofball people like John Galt, somebody else, I think it was JP. He's been kicked off of YouTube, but he won't even go over to Rumble and say the dumb shit that he says to where he could actually be bigger. He only had like maybe 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers on YouTube. Man, saying the dumb shit he says freely, man, you could expand that. You could expand that. Chaotic allows crazy, wild shit to be said politically, religiously, racially on YouTube. He could take that. I think he has like 12, 13,000 subscribers and 10x that and 10x that on freaking Rumble. Rumble is awesome, but people don't want to make the effort. There you go, Imperius just iterated what I was saying. Really, it's crazy. It's mental illness, and I hate to say it's mental illness to constantly complain about a platform that's going to stick to what pays them immensely. The ad revenue that Google via YouTube gets is immense. You think they're going to lose that over a fucking JP? or Chaotic Truth or John Galt or CM or Stanley, whatever the fuck his name is? You think they're gonna just come on here and say, you think they're gonna monetize you or they're not gonna strike you when they have at companies, corporations, the biggest that pay them ad revenue? We're not paying for this. We're not putting ads for what this guy is saying on your platform. It's the smart thing. It's the only intelligent thing. Oh, it's not even a vast intelligence needed. It's just common business sense. And I don't want to use the RTARD word, but the way some of y'all are consistently doing this without going to Rumble, without going to D Live, which I love these other platforms. I'm cool with YouTube. YouTube has been here. We know how big YouTube is, but I love these other platforms even more just for their independent way of doing things. And like I said, Black Moses News will mainly be on Rumble. I don't care if people follow me or not, which I think they will if I'm consistent. No. See, because you're thinking about it the wrong way. D Live ain't ass if it allows you, because Nick Fuentes was on D Live. And I'm just saying D Live because I'm familiar with D Live from back in the day watching Jesse Lee Peterson. He would always say, "Go follow us on D Live, y'all. Go check us out on D Live." That's the only reason I say D Live, because I remember when Jesse Lee Peterson got a strike from YouTube about something. And I don't even know if Jesse Lee Peterson is monetized on YouTube, but he's on Rumble. Maybe they're filtering out dummies. But that's the thing. Angry Man was on D Live for a minute back in the day. Yeah. And D Live is a small platform, but it's an independent. They're like, we're not going to do what YouTube is doing. Let's get the people that really want to say what they want to say and maximize it. And you see, there are advertisers that are on Rumble. No, it ain't freaking McDonald's or maybe somebody like that because of the language or the First Amendment. But there are still advertisers on there. I was watching Bongino. I was watching a Bongino episode. And if anybody needs a platform like Rumble is Dan Bongino, I love those lives or those channels over there. It just reminds me of, there's this show here that we watch. I don't know if it still comes on. It's called Texas Country Reporter. And it's not like this political show, but it's where this guy drives around in his van and they just go to different spots in the hill country. I think it was called Hill Country Reporter, and just show different parts, just showing real people on how they live their lives independently. They're not complaining about the government or complaining race. They're just making things happen for themselves. You heard Dan Bongino got in trouble for something but can't remember what it was. He didn't get in trouble for it on Rumble because I was just watching a live from him maybe a day or so ago. So if he got in trouble, it wasn't on with Rumble, maybe with some group of people that didn't like what he said. You angry man on his show. Angry Man, he gets set off real easy. It seems like I've watched a couple of episodes. He even let JP set him off. I remember JP set him off, and I'm like, damn, you let JP set you off? JP doesn't have an intellectual molecule or logic. I'm not gonna say intellectual. He doesn't have a logical molecule existing, and you would think a person like that would be like a drugged out, but JP ain't even on drugs. He might smoke cigarettes, but he doesn't have a logical molecule existing anywhere within his frame. Me and John went at it on Earth Stream. I see Earth is back. I do see Earth is back. And I've been meaning to go over to Ert's channel because I think Ert well, we didn't go back and forth. I kind of bombed on him and he felt a certain way about it. But when I went on Chaotic Truth Show and he was on there, he was very welcoming and cool. I don't think he wanted me to go at him. And I have nothing against Ert. I think I just was just starting shit when him and RLM was going back and forth. I just did it just to be doing it. When you have this thinking, this free thinking, you could just do shit just to be doing it, just to see the outcome of it. Right? Empirics, do you agree? Because Empirics, I know sometimes you just go into channels just to kick some shit off. You don't have any, you don't have any personal feelings or whatnot. You're just going there to kick up some dust. And when you have a free thinking and the knowledge to go with it, you can do that. And a lot of these people don't do it. So they get in their feelings, they get in their emotions easily. And I love it. Ert wait, oh no. Ert banned me already. Damn, Ert. And I saw my guy Leonard Remix Roy. I call him Leonard Remix Roy go there, and he was talking about Ert because I guess he gave RLM $200 and gave Ert 50. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The way these people go back and forth. Sometimes I'm like, let me just go in here and start some trouble. And sometimes, but most of the time I'll be like, nah, I'll just let it ride. Maybe I'll go in here. But you guys doing it, hey, I don't knock you for it. If you can do it, do it. But sometimes I just like to sit back and watch. And if I feel like I want to have some enough motivation to have that type of fun, I'll do it. But a lot of times I just like, okay, you know. And a lot of times with me, I don't like sitting up on live streams for the long haul. I've done some chaotic streams. I've went on there and done about a few hours, but the all day, some people be on there all day. And I'm like, how do you do that? How do you sustain yourself? Some of them people ain't sustaining themselves. They're not. Ain't no in the world CM is sustaining himself and doing live streams for 10, 11 hours. Nowhere in the world. He's probably already, I know JP ain't, but JP is already on public assistance. So we see how he can be on live streams all day because he ain't working. Fleeting moments in between things. It helps me stay up late when researching or drafting documents. Okay, see, I can dig that. Yeah, if I get on a panel, it ain't for long. Yeah. You know, it's not. And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Because sometimes I watch live streamers on Kick and Twitch. For some reason, I have a preference for Kick streamers. But then again, Twitch has a lot of the busty lady streams, which I enjoy. I do enjoy that. Now, I do enjoy a nice busty lady doing a stream and being all feminine and you know, I love that. And Twitch still has that. That's one thing I enjoy about live streams and social media, period. You know, I enjoy a good shape. Yeah, I get on a panel. And I read that. I get bored quickly, so I can't just sit there on a panel for hours, especially when they start having that downtime, that down conversation. When they start trying to sound smarter than everybody, but their language is so down, like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 and you know this and that. Nobody cares about your facts. You didn't know that in high school and grade school. Nobody cares about your facts. Nobody cares about what you think are your facts. Nobody cares. Up the energy in this shit. Up the energy in it. If you're correcting somebody, say, yeah, blah, 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 and blah, 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 this, you dumb doofus ass dude. Put some punch at the end of it. So we can say, oh, shit. Yeah. Don't come in here trying to be smart and then like Stanley. That's the thing when I was listening to a Stanley stream. He sits up there and this is why we do this. And these idiots, I don't know why these idiots, and I'm just saying, but I'm like, dude, pick this shit up. Pick it up. Now I know I'm not one of Stanley's favorite people because I've bummed on him so much. And he stays out of my way. He stays out of my way. John Galt stays out of my way. Be Brave stays out of my way. And I dare them to get in my way when I'm doing my spiel. They won't do it. They know what's coming. They know what's coming. When I step in the midst of those losers, I'm apocalypse. I am apocalypse. I am the rocky shore. Come against me and break. Lord, you look like Dr. Oh, I am. Dr. Chaotica from Star Trek voice. Yeah. But that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it. But now, and I really haven't been going on these streams because all I hear him saying now is TOS. I don't want to get demonetized. Chaotic does a live stream and takes it down. And I'm like, why, dude? But I know why now. Because he doesn't want YouTube to go through it and strike his channel. But at the same time, when you know it's going to go there, you have a Rumble channel. Go to Rumble. If you double down your efforts in Rumble like you did, and a lot of y'all came up on YouTube by way of the demic, I'm going to just say it like that, when everybody was in the house, that's when you all gained your traction. But now that traction is not there anymore. You get a few here and a few there. Now it's time for you to venture out and really spin your wheels. Well, is that a right term? Spin your wheels. But really sail your ships out into deep water. I'm going to say that. CT unbanned you. Was that recent? You were banned on CT's channel? I know John Galt was banned by Bob, and Bob made an executive decision and didn't let John Galt back, which I'm proud of. I salute Bob for that because I think John Galt is just some kind of babbling idiot. I do. Regardless of people thinking how he sounds, he's a babbling idiot to me, especially when he's on substances. CT was supposed to have been created a website. Speak Radio, a website. If he would double down on Rumble, he'd be competing with some of the best Rumble streamers. He could be monetized 10x. I love that phrase. I forget the guy's name, the real estate guy, but I love that phrase, 10x. He could have 10x'd himself. I remember Dr. Disrespect on Rumble. It's Dr. Disrespect on Rumble. You have a way and a personality that can really help you on Rumble. And I'm speaking to him specifically. And all you other goofs and doofs and losers who continuously try, and this is where spin your wheels come in, where you continuously spin your wheels on YouTube, knowing that the success is just not there for you. Because you're saying things that the algorithm can look at as unpopular. And if you're already low, why put in those efforts when you can go to somewhere, expand your First Amendment rights, and possibly find a bigger audience and create an actual community? Do it sound like I'm doing a commercial for Rumble? They're not sponsoring this. I don't have shit on Rumble now. I just started a new channel. I've had a Rumble identity or whatever for maybe a couple of years. Not too long after they started, maybe a few years, and I've done a few videos. And I want to get more involved on it. I like YouTube. You see, I'm on YouTube right now. I have to do more live streaming. I want to get this channel, Black Moses News, because y'all know me as that. I have other channels, but they're for like other outside interests. But I want to get Black Moses News solidified. So there'll be more streaming over here, even though it's going to be harmless streaming. But Rumble, apocalyptic, scorched earth. Really? Really? It is. And that's how it should be if you really want true First Amendments. I love when President Trump just burns somebody with just a remark that people feel is, oh, it's so appalling. Oh, he said this. Yeah, when he says it in the public and just burn. If you haven't seen this, look, let me read this. I was banned by Bob a year ago, but I was always allowed to send audio messages to CT. I remember those audio messages. CT overruled Bob on audio messages. Oh, yeah, I remember your audio messages. He has a helmet, no hair, though. Who has a helmet, no hair? Yeah, Rumble is YouTube pretty in 2016. Yeah, pre-2016. But they have an intention to maintain First Amendment rights completely. YouTube is corporate now. YouTube is money moves YouTube. Advertising dollars rules YouTube, and it's not going to stop. They're the biggest search engine next to Google itself. As a matter of fact, Google owns YouTube. How can you not? And I'm not finna sit up here and say F YouTube because of that. If it's a corporation and corporations are fed by money, are you serious? Are you serious? So anybody that's still on YouTube, and a lot of you sectors, you black sectors, you nonsensical sectors, you are just superfluous political, racial, religious sectors, you're still talking that shit and getting mad because YouTube strikes you or demonetizes you. There's a mental issue existing that you don't realize. There's and just like Speak Radio just said, pre-2016, so we're 10 years later. It's 2026, and you still want YouTube to exist as if it's 2016. That means you're 10 years behind. That means you're 10 years slow. That means you're 10 years God damn it. That's what it means. They've moved on. They're getting billions on a regular basis. I'm sure they're not too far behind Elon as far as trillions, but they're on a regular basis amassing billions. Why would they want to sacrifice that for a JP or a Chaotic Truth or John Galt or Stanley Cross or whoever else is having just wild shit done on their channels? Or, you know, I let me read this. I remember I used to watch a Christian channel called Free Grace or something like that, and they're just as crazy and full of drama. Like, yeah, I will tell you, go to Rumble, test your skills. What? Oh, this is a church that I still listen to. Straightway Truth, Pastor Denning. What is his name? It escapes me right now, but he claims Hebrew, and his church is called the Straightway. I don't think he's on YouTube like he was. They used to have like a session, a live session, but now I think he's mainly live on Rumble, but he still does videos where he just, videos where he talks about issues on YouTube. He has a YouTube presence, but his main live stream, his main message is on Rumble. What is his name? Pastor. Anybody know Straightway Church? Let me look at my phone, because actually I like listening to him. That's another reason why I like listening to Rumble, because he's on there. Is it not Pastor Manning, even though he's one of my favorites, Pastor Manning? The Straightway, Pastor Dow. There you go, Speak Radio. Pastor Dow. I still watch Pastor Dow. Still effective. But YouTube will make you think, well, just watching them based on YouTube will make you think they're weak. Their message is not there and they're weak. But they're on Rumble and their message is just as strong. Just as strong. No, it's not Pastor Steven Anderson. It's Pastor Dow. Pastor Dow. He got that land out there in Tennessee that he has a whole complex or whatever you want to call it out there in Tennessee. And all the money goes to him towards that. They got their own little town there. They got their own little town. They build the house. Every member has their own house. They build the houses themselves. I don't want to call it a complex. It's more like I don't want to call it a compound. It's just their whole community. They build the houses there. They all go to that church, and if you work, most of your money goes to building that community. Yeah, and they don't. And when he's on his live, he got that AR. Them ARs right there behind him. He got them ARs right there behind him. He got like what, 2 or 3 stacked. He got them ARs right behind him. Yeah. And by doing that, what they're doing, having their own land, building their own houses, not needing any other outside influence, they're living that's the American way. Yeah. That's what you want. As long as you abide by the rules of the community, and if you can't abide by them, you're not going to force you to. You can leave. You can always leave and try your worth outside of the community. I think he has like 2 or 3 wives. But but nobody's, and I've seen people try to go against Pastor Dowell in his community, because I think he had a couple of NFL players that joined his community. And I think I've heard people, but it's not people who can actually affect them. They can't. Yeah, you can have all kinds of outside opinions, but if you're not doing anything illegal, if you're not harming people or doing all the other weird stuff that other so-called communities have done in the past, then there's nothing legally that can be done against you. Charges can't be brought up against you. If people are saying, hey, we're living here, there's nothing happening, people can feel that it's wrong, that they have to give their income up, and they can leave. They grow their own food. Pastor Steven Anderson is very controversial. I heard he's not allowed in certain countries. I'm going to have to check him out, because I like pastors like that. Pastor Dow, Pastor Manning, Geno Jennings, Geno Jennings, even though he's more traditional as far as black pastors. Yeah, they build farms and work that land and have some fun. Yeah. That's peace. To be self-sustaining, have your own, and not have and to be uninterrupted by the outside world. I heard Pastor Dowell always say, be in the world and not of it. I heard Jesse Lee Peterson say that too. Be in the world and not of it. And I know exactly what that means. I wish I could have that right now. I'm headed towards that, but I still have a lot of the secular world in me. So it's kind of hard for me. But be in the world and not of it. Moses, you should check out Pastor Stephen Darby. he's passed on, but still a lot of fire. Let me write these names down. Steven Anderson. It's funny that both of these pastors are named Stephen. Let me see. Steven Anderson. Okay. Stephen Darby. I know Pastor Dial. I know Pastor Manning. Like he's handled anybody else with that type of fire that Imperius brings. I mean, you listen to the people that calls into Jesse's show every day. He'd just be like, what the amazing. And he'll just let you go on, you know. Oh, I got to go because of, just say, because of time I have to go. But hey, forgive your mother, forgive your father, and maybe you can get Hey, Jesse is a solid rock. You ain't moving him. You could be I remember Charleston White was on Jesse. He just was like, amazing. I've seen some characters, Umar Johnson. They've all came on there and tried to rattle Jesse, and Jesse just be like, sticks to his logic, and you can't defeat him. What's the guy, one of the Young Turks, the young guy that's with the Young Turks went on there with Jesse. And then he was on Twitch talking about how Jesse rattled him. What's that guy name that be with the Young Turks? The younger guy, not the older guy, but I think that's his nephew. The younger guy that's on Twitch. Sometimes he does live streams on Twitch. He was on Jesse Lee Peterson bringing rhetoric, and Jesse Lee Peterson rattled him, and he went on his own Twitch channel and said, "Yeah, I was on Jesse Lee Peterson," and I'm like, man, I couldn't prove him wrong. Yeah. Jesse has rattled some of the best, sticking to what he knows, sticking to his logic, because it's really just basic. It's basic. It's really basic common sense. And he's not, you can't come in there with religion and all that, telling you, hey, they didn't say in the Bible that Jesus was God. And people get rattled. And that's why I like listening to Jesse. That's one person that I can consistently listen to all the way through, even though I think his streams usually about 3 hours, and then Hake, and then the Anchor Baby. But Jesse, I can listen to all the way through, nonstop. The cussing pastor used to be my guy till he did that. You know what? The cussing pastor was too emotional. Rest in peace. But he was too emotional. He allowed his relationships with women to get out of hand, when that's one thing you can't do. Because one of his main things, like he used to have the twerk sessions in church. I think he had got married to some younger woman, and she blasted him on social media. And then I think that attributed to how his physicality dwindled. Because he was always like, and I hate to talk about this, man, but he was always like big for his, for his size and his height. Because I think he's like a short guy, but still big. And he had health issues that he didn't try to improve. He would just double down on the drama with his ex-wife and any other woman. He allowed his emotions and his relationships to really get the best of him, when he should still be around today cussing people out. You know what? I got to run to the store. Talking to my lady, my wife, she's just told me, so I need to run to the store. So I did an hour and a half. Man, I did an hour and a half, and I may come back tonight. But I'm going to tell y'all, who's ever in here listening, go to Black Moses News, go to Rumble, and follow Black Moses News. I also have a channel called Info Crash TV, but I ain't doing nothing with that yet. But Black Moses News is on Rumble now, and believe me, you won't regret it. I'm going in. I have no limits, no borders on Rumble. Black Moses News is on Rumble. So if you want to say this is an advertisement or commercial for Rumble, I guess you could say that. But I would rather you, if you really want to have these conversations, I would rather when we really get down with the get down. Yeah, I can come over on YouTube, but I really want to let loose. And Rumble allows me to do that. So as for now, I'm out. I'm headed to the store. Lawrence, Imperial, Speak Radio, Craig Lucas, everybody who came in here, got in the chat because I love the chat. You know, I'm not a big panel guy. I'm not a huge panel guy, but I will get with the chat. I love the chat. Love the comments. I do it on Chaotic Show. When we on Chaotic, I'm watching the comments in the chat. I like to do that. I think that's the fun part of it. But anyway, this is Black Moses News. This was well, y'all see what the title is, but this Black Moses News, man. And don't forget, pass it, share it, follow, subscribe. But mainly let people know Black Moses got a Black Moses News is on Rumble. And like Jesse Lee said, you gotta know how to rumble. I'm out. I'll get it y'all next time.